8S 6833 Van Nuys Boulevard, a conditional use permit to extend the hours of operation, asking for a letter of support, tenant improvement for a new Starbucks coffee at the existing Arby's restaurant drive-through, no increase in area or change of use, extend the hours of operation for Starbucks. Commercial corner hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Starbucks is requesting operating hours from 4:30 a.m. to 12 midnight. Elizabeth, you must be Elizabeth.
No, I'm actually Erica Hernandez,
Erica.
and my colleague Ruth Escalante from Valeria Architects, representing Starbucks. This is regarding Starbucks at 6833 Van Nuys Boulevard. This is the purpose of the CUP, as you stated, would be for extending hours of operations. As we know, Arby's is currently operating from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Starbucks is requesting from 4:30 to midnight. As we all know, there's a Jack in the Box on Heartland and Van Nuys, and it's currently operating 24/7. Also, there's no issues. Starbucks wishes to do the same, opening 2.5 hours earlier than currently allowed operating hours from 7 to 11. Starbucks, by extending the hours, is also completing the DOT requirements. The change of use is bringing Starbucks is also updating the site and building, improving the built environment with code compliant.
Mr. Chairman, this came out of your committee. Where did Karina go? This came out of your committee just fine?
Yes, I know that I talked in our committee about the sign on the side, and we suggested that with Elizabeth, who was at the meeting, that somehow we could, preserve it in some ways to donate it to some museum, because I think it's a pretty iconic symbol for Van Nuys as far as what it is, and I think Elizabeth agreed to that. And,
very good.
That would be nice. I think that a Starbucks would greatly improve. I think everybody would hopefully agree.
Actually, I don't think we've agreed on that. Ruth is the project manager who's able to answer that question for you guys.
Yeah, the Arby's sign belongs to Arby's. We're here for Starbucks. We have no rights or any we can't make any agreements for them. That it's their own sign. Yeah. What was that? I can talk to Elizabeth, but like I said, we don't have any pull with Arby's. That's a whole different company. So I think it's their sign. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I think that they're going to take it. You don't know. No, I don't know if they're going to take it. I can get the landlord number. I can have Elizabeth give you guys any information of who to contact. But yeah, we're.
Well, I support you guys 1,000%.
So without any further objection, I make a motion that we adopt 8S as is. Seconded by Mr. Lazarovitz. Mr. Secretary, I call for the vote.
President Thomas.
Yes.
Vice President Benjamin.
Yes. That was so tasteless.
Secretary Hendry, aye. Ms. Hopp. Ms. Havard.
Yes.
Ms. Meyer.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Lazarovitz.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Guevara. Gone. Ms. Skelton. Mr. Kamara.
I'll put it on. Yes.
I wish.
Mr. Maleko.
I wish.
Yes.
I had coffee.
Mr. Anand.
Aye.
Mr. De La Cuesta.
Yes.
Ms. Padden. Mr. Lynn.
Aye.
Mr. Luna. Mr. Marabi.
Yes.
Ms. Arzola. Passes.
Very good. Moving on to 8T.
Before we move on, Mr. President, I just want to make a statement because we're going to be
opening up at 4:30 for the people who go to work early.
Thank you, Don.
We're going to be
Derek is recognized.
since we're going to be developing the censor next meeting.
Yes.
I just wanted to point out, because these are comments that keep coming down from Ms. Hop, and it's so fresh that we just took this vote, and she feels so comfortable that one of our stakeholders, her friend over there, had made a comment about "we support you 1,000%," and over here we have Ms. Hop clapping and laughing as the inside joke of how she said the Van Nuys support you 1,000%, and this is an ongoing little joke between her and her friend over there, and it's being condoned by Ms. Hop after this vote. This is the kind of character and actions that this board member is doing. I'm just wanting to point out, so when we start the censor process, that we can apply these to when we vote for that.
It is part of the record. Thank you, Derek. Moving on to 8T, 6908 Vesper Avenue. Request to action for a community impact statement on the proposed property. The VNNC Plum Committee board members vote on the non-support of case number DIR 2013-3200DB and to be submitted to the Planning Department, as well as to the attention of Councilwoman Nuri Martinez and Chief of Staff Jim D'Antona. Did you want to speak on this, Ms. Schertzer?
Oh, well, the Plum Committee already voted on it. It was non-support.
Full support out of the Plum Committee?
Pardon me?
Full support out of the Plum Committee?
It was non-support.
Oh, full support.
Full support to get this on the agenda so we do a community impact statement to not support the
I
project.
believe it was,
Yes.
Mr. request to abstain to get it on, and the others was all.
Do you guys have language for the community impact statement?
Do you,
Well, we have to vote on it.
Well, yeah, we're voting on submitting a community impact statement for the non-support of this. Do we have any language on that, or just basically
we
what?
don't have any background. Can you give me some background real quick? 2 second short.
Yeah, the background was that this was not, no one in the area was notified, because this is the director's determination. Basically, it's a nameless, unknown bureaucrat who would make a decision affecting the entire area. When I spoke to this
Wonder what that's like.
planning official, he acknowledged that he had not even been to the location, didn't know where it was, and was really looking at plans, on the paper. So this is the kind of in-depth understanding of what they're doing,
What are they trying to build there?
Well, he requested a density bonus, and with that, he's allowed to go basically 1 story above what's allowed in the area. And across the street, it's all single-family homes, 1 story, and he's going to be building a 4-story structure. And
The parking, there was a big impact on the residential neighbors. There was not enough parking.
right, not only that, it will right. It's going to be the largest, tallest structure in the area. But what really, why the Plum Committee did not support it, because the representative, Mr. Lamershaw, had what was a bad attitude, but it's pretty representative of a lot of bad attitudes about Van Nuys. When we offered or suggested that you consider the small lot development of single-family homes,
put it
which is
down
really what the
at the
city,
wrong place.
Oh, sorry. So where do you want it?
It's like pushing for infill like that.
Okay.
Mr. Lamershaw stated, well, small lot developments are a cutesy idea. What he meant to say is really that's a
How
cutesy
ironic
idea
is
for
this? Are you
Van
listening to
Nuys.
this woman?
Mr. Lamershaw has represented small lot
Oh, I was on the
developments in
phone.
other areas,
This
and he
guy
always
really-
thought it was wonderful. But apparently it's too cutesy
How's
for
that?
Van Nuys. And secondly, he also said that if you don't,
Here. Your home,
allow
the
developers
email
to have
address.
incentives, basically, that they're allowed to go above and beyond what's allowed by law.
Sure.
No developer would want to come here, which is also really indicative of a
Then
bad
here it's just
attitude, because I think that
jeffrey.lynn@vnnc.org.
better developers
I think it's
see the
Jeff.
potential and the value in this
sure it's
area.
Jeffrey?
And they would come here without
Jeffrey, I'm
expecting
sorry.
to have
It is?
special
Yes, it's
exceptions to the
Okay.
law.
Sure.
So just overall, the bad attitude of the developer and his representative, and the way it was conducted, basically
then,
being determined
phone number.
by one official who didn't even go to the site or know where it was and wasn't
I'll get the
basically
last one. Don't worry about
Fair enough.
That's
I'd
just
also
the
like
788 VNNC.
that were not from this area. A
Karina?
lot of
I'm probably the only one who supported this project just because I thought that the design was well thought. I think it's not about the quantity, but the quality of the work. And even in the beginning, they originally it was the architect who came and presented in front of the board. Actually, they went to the front of the plum and it got approved, and then it came to the general
All the
meeting.
boxes.
And it
This
was
is another one.
it was
They
it
came
was
before us
rejected.
before,
So they went back.
in the Vesper
They did-
Street,
they did
remember? And then there
outreach,
was an argument
and I do
across
have
Vesper.
the signatures, and I know that, but if we're gonna do a community impact statement, then we should do the same thing as far as getting signatures to do this, the people who are directly affected. And I know that they outreach the person who is directly across the street, and she did mention her concern was that she would lose some kind of privacy, but she's directly across the street, so she's not actually next door. If it was, it would have been different. But the fact is that it's already been determined by planning, and if we bring it to the, if we do vote on this, I feel like it's counterproductive because it's already been said and done. I think that my main quip is that I'm not able to communicate or have any conversation on a specific project in Van Nuys because literally planning is understaffed. They're administrative. They don't go on the field to really do the homework. And given the fact that Van Nuys, Los Angeles is probably the second largest city in the United States, that, we're not able to communicate with planning. And that is, and I think that's the root of the problem is that we don't know what's going on with planning as far as what their agenda, because there's a lot of things that are going on as far as what planning and city government, they're trying to consolidate different departments into one, because everybody knows who goes through specific departments, you get a different answer. And plus, you get the answers in downtown, not here. So I think that if there was going to be community impact statement, I would say it's mostly directly to the planning department to let you know that there has to be some kind of communication, some kind of understanding, because being a plum committee chair, I'm doing the best I can as far as conducting. I feel like I'm doing their work, as doing outreach and trying to have a forum in regards to this area. So.
Sure. Derek and then Candy.
And then Paul had his
Derek,
hand up.
Candy, then-
I just want to say that Van Nuys has a huge problem with density. And I think that opposing any such density issues with development is a smart thing, and I think it's something we can all get behind. And I think if we have to wait for the city and planning to get their act in order, it's just going to slow everything down. It may never even happen. But I think as a board, if we can come to consensus that density is a real issue and that we just nip it in the bud and just stop it and don't approve these developers that come toward us with these extra density, I think we can make some real change. But I think we have to stop the density problem.
Candy, then Paul.
My question, though, is I heard someone say, well, those signatures were not from this area. Can I get a list of those signatures, and then I will check each one of those, because, you know, that's the thing that happens a lot, in Van Nuys lot. It's always outsiders, it's somebody doing else, so if I can get a list of all those signatures.
I can give you a copy.
Thank you, I want to check every one of those, and what, for them to sign that, what was required? What was needed by, the individual who signed?
People who are living within that neighborhood block area.
Name, address, phone number, what?
They have their name, signature, address.
Okay.
I know that there's some on Vesper Avenue, but there's some that are out of that block. Because I mean, it could be like, it could be the person's friend, or I mean, I can't really.
And the requirements that you were asking for them to sign on this, what was it that they needed to qualify?
As a fund committee co-chair, I wanted to get feedback, yeah, just to, where they stand as far as, because, as far as being a fund, I do have to listen to everybody, including the stakeholders and the board members.
How many signatures do you have?
I would have to count it.
Okay, you can get that.
Paul and then Maria.
Paul, every one of those. I want to make sure people are qualified.
Mr. Anand and then Ms. Schertzer.
Okay, so I was just going to say one thing, that planning, every single one of these negative, mitigated, environmental, and all these things all go through planning, which is right here in the building we're in right now, in fact, on the third floor. And if you go, I know they're terribly horrible at actually communicating this, but they actually, on every one of these projects, have to have a planning report with the city planner. And there's only a few city planners that are actually going out and visiting, but those planners actually have a report where they're supposed to have photographs of the location, and they're supposed to have a full write-up about the location and why it's good or why it's bad. So if the planning department is not doing their job, which, I'll tell you, I've had to deal with planning, and they're no fun to deal with either. So, but if they're not doing their job, then we should have a copy of the report and then just say, look, this is negligent. If it's negligent, then they should be called out. The second thing is that the mayor is trying to make all this data open. So now there's ZMOS. Have you heard of this? Okay, and now there's also data.lacity.org that just also they released this week. And data.lacity.org will allow us to get access to even open portals of data. And then, of course, there's ZMOS. So there's online ways that we should be able to get access to it, and we should be asking possibly for some way to automate that process to neighbor council or something like that.
I've been subscribing to planning as far as what planning gives me. Until I get something in mail, because this is all the stuff that I get, and I do review it, I do go over it, and some do have it. The thing that, because if you're in a plum committee member, they have this coming Saturday, they do like a plan check and see. It's for people who are in plum committees who are not very familiar with the planning process and trying to figure out their own neighborhood council as far as CUPs or bonus density or subdivision projects. The thing is that these projects are asking for variances, modifications for CUPs, and there's projects that flies underneath the scope of
right. This project in particular actually is state provides the density bonus. So it's not the city, as I understand it, that provides density bonus anyway. It's not an LA city thing, this density bonus. I believe it's a state thing. Well, it's the same way that zoning makes a decision on a CUP, but the city planner makes the recommendation.
And they make the determination.
But the determination isn't made necessarily by the city planner. The determination, for example, on a CUP would be made by the ZA, who is the zoning administrator.
Yeah.
But the Van Nuys Neighborhood Council is not deciding anything. We're making a statement.
Maria.
We're making a statement, and we're voting on an issue.
Ms. Schertzer.
Right, that that was my point. You've used the community impact statements, giving support for things, and I believe it's just as important that you acknowledge when when there was a commission, our plum committee,
Sure.
had non-support for something.
Fair enough.
Because I think it's good for the record to show that our community did not support this. The whole process of one official making such an important decision for an entire area, and that's basically what it is.
Very good. Without further objection, Penelope?
The signatures weren't even collected by the developer. He sent the next door neighbor out to get those signatures. Not- he didn't-
Candy, you're following up on that? Maria, real quick.
This question about the petition, it was already submitted, but it was the apartment manager who went to the other apartment, people who live across the street in the apartments, got signatures from them, and or so from other areas in LA, eight. And there was only one person across the street who was not even authorized to sign for the property owner of the dwelling to sign. So it was really
Without objection.
a non-representative.
Perfect. Thank you, Maria, for your work on this. Without objection, I make a motion that we adopt 8T as is for the submitted community impact statement in regards to this proposed property. Do I have a second?
Second.
Very good. I call for the vote, Mr. Secretary.
President Thomas.
Yes.
Vice President Benjamin.
Yes.
Secretary Hendry, aye. Treasurer Hop. Ms. Havard.
Aye.
Ms. Meyer.
Yes. Aye.
Mr. Lazarovitz. Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Guevara. Not here. Okay. Ms. Skelton. Not here. Okay. Mr. Kamara.
Yes.
Mr. Waleko.
Yes.
Mr. Anand.
I'm going to abstain.
Abstain. Okay. Just a second. Mr. De La Cuesta.
You abstain and
No, and I would like to make a comment after the vote.
What was that?
I would like to make a comment after the vote.
Well, what was your vote?
your vote.
No.
No.
No. Okay. Ms. Padden. Not here. Okay. Mr. Lynn.
Aye.
Mr. Luna.
I'll abstain.
Okay. Mr. Marabi.
Yes.
Ms. Arzola has
She left.
left the building. Okay, it passes. 1 no and 2
Torino.
abstain.
I know that majority sort of question about having density in Van Nuys, but when we talk about, sustainability issues, are we going to sprawl out, or are we going to decide on building something that would hopefully improve an area like Van Nuys? Because I think one of the most hardest thing for any stakeholder and board member here is that, there's going to be tough choices, and there's going to be more projects that are coming in the pipeline, and whether you want it or not, it's just that we have to take responsibility for the future and for, having something that could eventually bring more business. And that's sort of, what I'm trying to say as far as a board member, as a stakeholder, and a Plum Committee Chair.
Very good. Thank you, Karina. Moving on to 8U. We're almost running out of letters here. We might have to adopt the Armenian alphabet, which I understand has 36 different letters. This one's going to be Canditos. 8U, Miss Monica Benavides, dedication at Delano Park, as well as establishing a no vending zone around St. Elizabeth Church.
Just
Andy.
quickly, and I spoke with Miss Linda Leviton before she left because I wanted to make sure I could speak on both of our parts. Mr. D'Antonis says that Rec and Park is moving. It's a little slow, but they are moving the process of getting the date and time and the field named after her. In regards to the St. Elizabeth and no vending zone, spoke with Mr. Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez, who was a former councilman, stated that it was not him and his office that took that issue of the church, the big cathedral down there. It was Mr. Reyes. So he gave me the number to Mr. Reyes. I contacted him, and he said that he would see if what he had available and how they did it, etc. So we are moving on that. And if we can get that done, if we can put those signs around St. Elizabeth, we can, that could hopefully spread out, because that corner of Kittredge and Van Nuys Boulevard is unbelievable. It's a horrendous place. So
very good.
Along slowly, Mr. President.
Without objection, I make the motion that we adopt 8U as is. Do I have a second?
Second.
Very good. Mr. Benjamin seconded the motion. I call for the vote on 8U.
Why are we voting on this? What's the action item?
There's no action.
We don't have to vote on it. I mean,
This is just point of information.
all right. Very good.
I don't think there's a vote.
All right, moving on. 8V, the budget advocates are requesting a community impact statement in regards to the budget advocates white paper and recommend that the Budget and Finance Committee and the VNNC adopt the white paper as is. Also, the CIS should state the VNNC supports the white paper.
Call for the question.
And may I state that they also wanted a vote, we mentioned it last month, and it was supposed to have been on the executive committee, but I wasn't there, as you know, so, that they either appoint or elect reps again for, budget act, because they're gonna be starting next month.
Okay, now, Derek, did you want to serve again?
Yes.
Okay, and then Jeanette?
Yes.
And then you guys are going to carpool? Come on, that's a little funny. Okay, so...
Can I make a vote? Can I speak on it?
Yes, please, Miriam.
The one part that I don't agree with, and I don't like it, don't like the idea that it should go up from 4% to 10% when I'm not going to ask workers to ask for pay raises. So I'm not going for that.
Okay, thank you, Miriam.
So we're not going to accept that. So I'm going to tell the unions to oppose the increase to 10% because we're not asking for any pay increases.
Sir, we're off topic. Call for the vote.
We're not going to, I'm going to block you from increasing it to 10%. All the unions in the city are going to block it.
Miriam, you're out
So
of
don't
order.
even bother voting on that part.
Okay, thank you, Miriam. Without objection, I make a motion that we adopt 8V as is. Seconded by Mr. Luna. I call for the vote, Mr. Secretary.
Don't even bother with that.
Just 1 second. President Thomas?
Yes.
Vice President Benjamin? Yes. Treasurer Secretary Hendry, aye. Treasurer Hop? Aye. Ms. Savard is not here. Ms. Meyer? Is not here. Mr. Lazarevitz?
Yes, we have a quorum.
Mr. Martin? Is not here. Mr. Guevara? Not here. Ms. Skelton? Not here. Mr. Kamara?
Yes.
Mr. Maleko?
Yes.
Mr. Anand? Aye. Mr. De La Cuesta?
Yes.
Ms. Padden? Not here. Mr. Lynn?
Aye.
Mr. Luna? Aye. Mr. Marabi? Ms. Arzola? Not here. Okay. Yes, 12 aye. We're getting close, though.
Very good. The motion passes. 8W, the paperwork was not in, so we can't vote on that. 8X, the paperwork was not in, so we can't vote on that. And then 8Y, thank you, Miriam. It's really good to hear from you. 8Y, the reestablishing the agenda posting procedure as advised by the city attorney and done. I'm going to refer that without objection by the council. I'm going to refer that to the Government Affairs Committee. They need to go over it. It did not go through any committee. So with that, without any objection.
Mr. President, really fast, I just want to make a point that it's 11:40 at night, and regardless of having a second public comment, we're still way over time. So the fact that removing the public comment, I don't think really does any good, and that's not the real issue. I think the real issue is how we're steering the ship as we go down the meeting. Nothing against you. I think all of us need to play a part in helping everyone stay on point. It's 11:40 at night. It has nothing to do with public comment. Nothing to do.
Very good.
I'm going to say it real quick tonight. I know that let me speak. Can I speak? I'd like to, thank you.
That hard to get.
That's all it is.
I would love to get.
With that,
Well, I want to speak my second comment.
with
here.
that, the announcement is we will be meeting again the first Monday
Why
of next
can't I
month.
speak the second comment, public comment?
And it is my honor, it is my honor and privilege to adjourn this meeting.
There's only one public comment. It's at the beginning, not at the end. There is not. The first one was a good one.